again, I grew up when they didn't have, I grew up in the Midwest, first of all, and people skateboarded, but man, you hopped on some of those initial boards that they didn't have the ball bearings and the wheels and the hubs that they have today that make it much easier. I mean, how do you hop onto one of those and accepting the risk that you're going to fall, and you are going to fall, much like you're going to trade and lose money? So, again, there's a lot of similarities there. How do you step into that, whether you're doing it in an empty pool or in a skate park? I mean, what inspires you to get in there and risk the injury that you know is going to come over time the more you do it?
Yeah, it's sort of an interesting comparison between stocks and the skateboarding, because kind of, the idea of risk analysis in stock market or in any sort of trade or even just a horse racing bet is the whole premise of risk reward. And I don't think that the risk reward is, that's still a viable concept in skateboarding, but it's a lot more difficult to measure, because however you intend on measuring your risk, whether it's I have a stop $1 away and I have this many shares, so that's my dollar risk, it's really hard to quantify that, because you don't know, maybe I will land the trick first try, or maybe, I'll need to be taken to the hospital, or maybe it will just be a very, topical abrasion and it's like some Neosporin and you're good to go. So it's really difficult to actually know where your risk lies. Right. When you're skateboarding. And then a certain amount of experience helps, where it's pretty unlikely that I'm actually going to have a catastrophic fall rolling. I mean, it's sure possible, but it's pretty unlikely now, because I've been, skateboarding for so long that just rolling is like, it'd be like saying, what are the chances that you have a catastrophic injury while walking? I mean, if there's not a car or a train involved, then it's pretty slim.
If you're in a controlled situation, obviously, you can only go so high, you can only go so fast. So,
of course, just rolling.
Now, if you're one of those guys that I've seen on YouTube where you're flying down the hills of San Francisco on those longboards, flying by cars at 60 miles an hour, that's a different thing. That's a different type of skateboarding.
Definitely, and then that's where I guess the risk analysis comes in. But what's also interesting is that the expression, there are old traders and bull traders, but no old bull traders.
Yep.
I think that aside from the limits of age on, being a professional skateboarder, most of the people that are successful in pro skateboarding are the bold ones. Right. There aren't a lot of old ones, but there are a lot of bold ones. So I think that it's a different measure of risk and reward, because for them it's skewed. Whether it's a personal situation or just their drive, where they go, I don't have much else going for me, so I'm just going to go for it. And that's kind of not how I approach the stock market, where I'm just going to just go for it, throw a bunch of money out there and hope that it works willy-nilly. And that's kind of how some people approach their skateboard career, which does seem to work in that, instance.